The geopolitical thing I sort of wonder about is always that the U.S. dollar is a reserve currency of the world. There are some things about that are good for the U.S., some things that are more problematic. From China's point of view, they want to get they don't like the U.S. having this reserve currency because it gives us a lot of leverage over Iranian oil supply chains and all sorts of things like that. I think the euro you could think of as was in part a Chinese weapon against the dollar. It didn't, the last decade, it hasn't quite worked out that way, but that was China would have liked to see two reserve currencies like the euro. And even though I'm sort of a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin maximalist person, I do wonder whether at this point Bitcoin is also should also be thought in part as a Chinese financial weapon against the U.S., where it threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the U.S. dollar, and China wants to do things to weaken it. So it's sort of China is long Bitcoin, and perhaps from a geopolitical perspective, the U.S. should be a little bit be asking some tougher questions about exactly how that works. But some internal stable coin in China, that's not a real cryptocurrency. That's just that's just some sort of totalitarian measuring device. I do think that seeing China in an adversarial way would be a helpful start, and Silicon Valley has not been that good on this. Although it's in some ways it's structurally better than Wall Street or Hollywood or the universities, because Silicon Valley for the most part has been frozen out of China, and so it's not. It doesn't naturally believe that it can get that much out of it. If you look at the big five tech companies, Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, virtually very, very little presence in China, and so they aren't naturally a pro-China constituency. Apple is probably the one that's structurally a real problem, because the whole iPhone supply chain gets made from China, and Apple is the one that has real synergies with China. But then there is something about the woke politics inside these companies. The way they think of themselves is not really American companies, and it's somehow very, very difficult for them to have a sharp anti-China edge of any sort whatsoever. I had a set of conversations with some of the Google people on the DeepMind AI technology, where is your AI being used to run the concentration camps in Xinjiang? And well, we don't really know, and don't ask any questions, and you have this almost magical thinking that by pretending that everything's fine, that's how you engage and have a conversation, and you make the world better. And it's some combination of wishful thinking, it's useful idiots, it's CCP fifth columnist collaborators. So it's some superposition of all these things. But yeah, look, I think if you think of it ideologically, or in terms of human rights or something like that, I'm tempted to say it's just profoundly racist.